Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thousands of memories are created on your magical vacation. Those memories can live on forever in the photos that are taken. Join us today as we go on a journey in Capturing Magic.
Welcome to Capturing Magic. I'm Steph from capturingmagic.me and thedailydigi.com. This is episode 50, recorded on July 16th, 2013. I'm here with my co-host, Brittney Leavitt, who can be found at britishdesigns.com, where she creates digital scrapbook supplies. Hey, Britt.
Hi. Hello.
Congratulations on episode 50.
Yeah, you too.
Well, thank you very much. It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah. We have joining us today for the very first time, and we're very excited about it, Effie Snow, who can be found at, what's your Etsy store, Effie?
It's theartbeatgallery.etsy.com.
Perfect. And you are known all over Instagram as Overcaffeinated, correct?
It's now Snowburn Sisters Inc. Actually.
That's right. Snowburn Sisters Inc. And that is spelled SNOWBURN, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We're excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk one quick second. Britt is just back from a Disneyland trip where that's why she wasn't here for our last show.
I know, it was so weird to not be here.
It was weird to not have you here. You were missed. And you had a fabulous time.
Yes, we did. It was very fun. It was very crowded, but we were there for the 4th of July weekend. So it was really busy and really hot, but it was really fun too. It was just kind of a whirlwind, crazy trip.
Right.
Which we don't usually do that. We never go in the summer. We never take spontaneous trips out of the blue. So it was a new experience for us.
All the way around.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
But it was very fun.
Yeah. Okay, so Effie, let's share a little bit about you with our listeners. I actually discovered you from Britt. I don't remember how she shared information about you with me or anything like that, but that's how I discovered you. And I think it was on Instagram, and you have just amazing photos. And for a little while, the official Disneyland the official Disneyland Instagram feed was using your photos.
Yeah, they were for a while. I guess they revamped it not too long ago. They're just featuring guest photos now, and so they're trying to give everybody kind of an equal opportunity. But yeah, I was featuring those, and I did a couple of giveaways on their site, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So,
and then you also are an artist, and you create Disney-inspired and themed artwork.
Yes.
Yes. And that's when you started posting those tidbits. That's another reason that I got connected with you, because I was able to actually finally purchase some of them through your Etsy store, which was super fun. And so people can find your art. You have iPhone cases and prints and all kinds of goodies in there.
Yeah, we just actually started putting our art on clothing that just started showing up in the stores. And so that's been pretty popular lately.
I didn't know that.
No, in the Disney stores?
No, it's not in the Disney stores, just on our Etsy shop.
Store.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, that looks a lot like Effie's stuff. And, yeah, and I don't know for sure, so.
No, hoping someday we'll get there, but right now we're starting small.
Yeah, that's good. And so you're in a partnership. You work with one sister or both of them?
I work with both. My sister Kate does more of the fashion and the clothing design. My sister Delcy and I are actually the artists. We're the ones who do the drawing, and she's my kind of go-to girl for all the information that I need. So it was sort of partners. So
yeah, which is really fun to see you in such a great partnership with your sisters and doing things that you love.
Yeah.
I think. So tell us when your love for Disney started.
Okay. Well, I actually grew up hooked on, all things Disney. I mean, who didn't? But it was a passion I inherited from my mom. But it wasn't really until 2002 that my family became obsessed. I mean, I hate saying that, but it's a really apt description for how we feel about Disney.
It's how most of us feel. We can all relate.
Yeah. anyway, we had gone through some, really rough years, a couple of tragedies, and I suddenly found myself 23 and a single parent of 4 children, my 2 boys and my little sisters who came to live with us. And so it was pretty overwhelming, and I came to the conclusion that we all really needed, a trip to Disney, happiest place on earth. And since then, it's really been our home away from home. It really helped us solidify as a family, and we've been going back ever since. We've been pass holders since 2005, and my kids are older now, and my sisters are still my roommates, but we've never taken a trip without everybody there. So.
Oh, that's great. Really good stories. And so, you make it down there 4 or 5 times a year to Disneyland.
We do, yes.
And then have you guys been to Disney World at all yet?
We have not, actually.
We need to do that. I'm going to come with you.
Yeah, my youngest son would totally be cool with that idea. He's ready to go there. He's been asking. So we're thinking about setting up a trip for October for Disney World.
Wow.
So it'll be our first time, and it's pretty exciting, but Disneyland is sort of special to me, and so I'm not sure what to expect over there.
Just plan very well. That's always my tip, because I think a lot of people whose home park is Disneyland don't understand how huge it is and all of the planning that needs to go into it in order for it to be a successful trip. So, okay. So I think we covered all of those questions. I would love to hear what your favorite attraction is.
My favorite attraction is actually Space Mountain. I have a really special relationship with that because of my youngest son, who used to, that was his favorite ride. He wanted to go on that so bad, and he'd say, "It's my favorite ride, Mom," and he'd never even been on it. He was too short, and he wanted so badly to go on it that we had purchased some skate shoes and taken out the wheels so he had a couple extra inches to get him on the ride. And so we had such a special relationship with that ride that it was always the last ride of our trip, always. Oh. So it's my favorite.
I love that story.
That's cute.
That is so cute. Okay, we have a couple of news items that we wanted to talk about that are related to capturing, documenting magic in the parks. The first one, Britt, you put on here going to D23. Who's going to D23?
I am. Yay! Well, I'm going with Steph. So I finally made the decision that I'm going with Steph to the D23 Expo. So we'll both be there, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, so if you're going to be there, please let us know and give us a shout out. We would love to say hello to some listeners. We haven't decided we haven't even talked about maybe doing a meetup or anything, Britt.
I know, that would be fun.
If you are a listener and you want to do a meetup, let us know, and we'll see what we can make arrangements for. That might be fun.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, we have buttons.
Yeah.
We have buttons we can share.
Yeah.
The other little news item is that on the Disney Parks blog today, there was a post that they have released some Disney fine art photography and video. Let's see, it says Disney fine art photography and video releases one-of-a-kind Disney letter art portraits. And what it is words in kind of the Mickey font, the Mickey Mouse font, when you say that, Britt.
Yeah.
And you book a portrait session with the photographers at Disney World, which they have, and they take your family pictures so that the photos are designed specifically to fit within these letters. So you can do character names, you can do Disney, all different options. And then they set your family up in groupings or individuals so that they'll fit within the letters and look really cute. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, they're really cute, actually. And I've always thought those portrait sessions are pretty neat. Like if you're going to have a portrait session with your family, it'd be cool to have them at one of the resorts, how they do that. And they look really nice from the galleries they have online and stuff. So, and it says you can do the letter portrait session, or you can order the letter thing with either the like the big portrait session, which is $350, or the mini portrait session, which is $150. You just have to tell them which one you want and add it to your package.
Yes, perfect. And so if you are interested in looking at more information about this, head to DisneyEventPhotography.com. And you can actually do any kinds of photo sessions that you would like around the parks with an official Disney photographer. And they set that up for you. And this is one of the options of prints and also photos. Kind of a fun thing.
Yeah. And I kind of thought, I mean, it's really cute how because it's all on like a white background. I guess that's how they always do them, because that's all the examples are. It was with just like a white background.
For those ones, yeah, probably.
Yeah, for the letter sets. But it was also like the look of them, they look super cute. And I was thinking, even if you just took your family snapshots from your trip and made your own kind of thing similar to that, that would be pretty cool too.
You could, yeah. I wonder if they'll sell just the frames or the mats, you know?
Yeah, because those are really cute.
Yeah, they are in that font. You could do it, if you're a digital scrapbooker, you could do it very easily with that font.
Don't they, excuse me, don't they have mats at the park? Now that you say that sounds super familiar.
It sounds familiar to me too, but
like
I don't.
At the photo place, they sell like mats that spell out Disney and stuff.
I think so. I think I've seen them in the parks before, but I don't want to say for sure they're there in case
it's like a vague memory. Do you? I don't know. I feel like I've seen those there before.
I'm pretty sure they have them.
Yeah.
I think in the World of Disney store in downtown Disney, they have them there.
Anyway, really cute idea, and fun that they're doing so many new things with that portrait stuff. So
yeah, and with the photography, I think there's just so many really great things that they can do, and it's exciting to see them doing them. So, okay, let's jump into our topic today.
Okay, wait, I have one more piece of news that I forgot to put in the script.
Okay.
Sorry.
I can't wait to hear it.
Well, the news is I'm pregnant.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
You saved that for the show so I could be shocked, huh?
Yes.
Congratulations.
I'm going to shock Steph right here on the show.
While we're recording, congratulations. How far along are you?
I am 14 weeks, so I'm due in January, middle of January. So that was another reason why our trip was so hot. I was doubly hot.
Well, at least you're past the sick part.
Yes. Well, pretty much. So it was good. So it was good timing as far as that goes.
Yeah, you didn't have to go and puke in the Disney toilets.
Yeah, nope. Did not have to do that.
That's good.
Yeah, but wasn't able to ride any like big rides or anything like that. So, and I won't be in our next couple trips. So
I went to Disney World when I was expecting my second in 1999. And I'm trying to think, I was about the same about that far along as you are. 12 weeks about, I think, is what I was when I went down there. And yeah, same thing. I didn't get to ride any big rides.
Yeah. I did that when I was pregnant with Scarlett. We went to Disney World, me and my mom, and same kind of thing. But yeah, anyway.
There's so many rides, though, that you can still ride that it's really not.
It wasn't that big a deal. And with Scarlett anyway, like when it was just the three of us, it's like we don't really want to ride the rides by ourselves.
Right.
So it was fine.
Yeah. That's all
More
good.
time for photography.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Great. Okay, now are we ready? That's why you didn't put it on the thing, is because, Britt's big news. So that I could
50th show, perfect timing.
Yeah,
right?
Wow. Yeah, perfect. Well, congratulations. I'm excited for you and all that good stuff.
Thanks.
So I'll sit behind and not ride the big rides with you while we're at D23. Not that big of a sacrifice for me, actually.
The only one I was actually really sad to not be able to ride was Radiator Springs Racers. That one made me really sad because I love that ride so much.
And see, I probably would have still ridden it.
I know, everyone told me I should have, but I was like, no, it's all right. But I told Josh, I was like, you got to go ride the single rider. Just go do it for me. Yeah. But he wouldn't because he's like, no, it's not as fun. So.
Oh, yeah. I've been on that ride tons alone just because I have to ride it when I'm there. And so I guess you'll have to sit out on that one all on your own and I'll go ride it.
That's fine. I totally get it.
I have to ride that ride. So I've gone on it tons alone when I've been there on my own.
I think if I told Josh, I was like, if it was me, I would be going on. So But yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
It was busy. It was busy anyway. So anyway.
Yeah, it probably would have been. If it was a 45-minute single rider line, that's a little more difficult.
Yeah. I don't know how long it was, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Okie dokie, now we're ready, I think, to jump in, right? To our discussion. Okay, today we're going to be talking about photography tips, and I'm super excited to have Effie share some of her tips for getting great photos in the Disney parks, because she truly does get great photos in the Disney parks. And Effie, did we want to talk about your project that you're working on, or no?
I don't have a problem with it if you want to touch on it. That's okay.
Yeah, I would love to share it with people because I think they'll be excited. So why don't you tell us what you're working on? Because it all ties into photography too.
Yeah, it does. It actually stemmed from us taking so many photos in the park. We had so many left over that I had begun making family photo scavenger hunts for our trips. And they had become so popular that we were being approached by actual guests in the park and cast members wondering where we had gotten them. And so we had started giving them to cast members to hand out to other people and handing them out to people when we got approached. And they just became pretty popular. And it was kind of crazy because one trip we went and we were eating lunch at the Blue Bayou, and a couple of cast members we had become familiar with came up to us and let us know that they had had requests even when we weren't at the park for our scavenger hunts, and they suggested that we should write a book. And so it kind of got started that way, and the book is well underway at this point. It's just waiting for some last minute illustrations before it can be put out. And it's kind of exciting to be published and to be published about Disney.
How perfect is that?
So exciting. So can you tell us a little bit about what kind of photo scavenger hunt? Like, is it the kind where there's like a list of things you have to take pictures of, or things you're hunting in the park for?
I haven't done any of the lists. We did some of those, but my kids actually didn't like them as well as actual pictures. And the pictures are sort of taken out of context, like it might be a letter from a sign that you might be familiar with. And it's funny because you don't count the little ones out because they've got a pretty sharp eye for things that they see around the park. Yeah. And we did one where all of the signs in Toontown, it's just pictures of signs, but I've erased all the words. And so you have to figure out what word is missing. But first you have to find the sign, and you write the thing down below, and then you enter all of the words into a word search, and then there's a question at the end, and you have to figure out the answer, and it's part of Toontown as well. So it's just, there's a bunch of little fun games in there, lots of ways to play, and it's all the games are geared towards different experience levels with the park.
So fun.
Yeah. And
I can't wait to have the copy of this book.
I can't either. And there's some kind of an adventure of a family, right? Of some people
like
woven
it's kind
in
of
there.
A story, right?
Yeah. Well, there's some characters that are going to be our basically tour guides through the scavenger hunt, and they are called the Dimpletons. They're original characters that my sister and I mocked up, and they're in their finishing stages. They've gone through quite a few, morphologies through the process here, and they're starting to look really, really great. And they are actually aliens. They are from a land called Dimple Land, and they call their land the land of hide and seek, and they spend their entire year getting ready for this annual scavenger hunt on their one voyage that they take to Disneyland. And so it's a pretty cute backstory. It's going to be up on the blog. That should be up in a couple of weeks, actually.
Oh, yay.
That's going to be thedimpletons.blogspot.com. And so that will be actually coming up by the end of, or middle of August, sorry. Yeah, so that's coming up, and it'll have the backstory and some bios on the characters and some progress on the book, as well as some of the products that are going to be coming out with Dimpleton characters.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's a big project, but it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and we probably want to mention that this is Disney's authorized you to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. That's even better.
Yeah, it's so exciting.
So exciting. Yeah, I can't wait to see this book. I've seen little bits and pieces of it on Instagram, and then also you sent over and you sent Britt and I an email that had kind of the morphology that the characters have gone through. And I have to say, I love them. And I love them how they are now in their final form. They're just adorable.
So much better.
Well, I used to, because you showed them to me a long time ago when they were in that first stage, and I loved them then. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I love how they've turned out. It's interesting to see their progression, and I like it.
Yeah, and I loved Britt's blog when I found you a few years ago. That I actually followed your blog for so long. I thought, you know what, she's great. I love this. And she's got Disney-related stuff. I actually modeled some characters after you and Josh.
I know, and I'm giggling over here about it because I love it so much that we were like, we're kind of like little Dimpletons.
Yeah, and then you contacted me on Instagram and asked, hey, when is Scarlett going to join? I'm thinking, I've already got her finished.
How cute.
I know, I'm so excited.
That's super cute. Very fun. Okay, so that's kind of where all of this comes from, and your photography and the little bits and pieces that I've seen on Instagram, and it's just so exciting. I cannot wait. I know Britt's right there with me for this book to come out. Mm-hmm. Just chomping at the bit. It will be super exciting. And I also want to mention that you're a school teacher, because that, as you're telling me how all of these things, and then you do the crossword puzzle and all that, I'm like, yeah, that's a school teacher right there.
Yeah.
Making sure that everything's going to be educational and challenge that brain and everything.
Well, I had young kids when I first started making these, and so I definitely didn't want them to just be for adults or, long-time Disney goers. I wanted it to be for something that people could use when they were first-time or, experts or, kids. And so it really is geared towards all levels. There are games for everybody. So
I love it. Yeah, it's super exciting. So let's jump into some tips then, some photography tips, because you definitely qualify to share with us some of your tips because you've spent so much time in the parks. Share with our listeners a little bit about how you started getting into photography and learning about it.
I actually have always loved photography. I actually took classes when I was in college that were absolutely had nothing to do with my degree. They were just sort of electives. And I loved doing it, but what better place to, capture memories than Disney? And it's so visually aesthetic there that it's, easy to do. Mm-hmm. And so I actually started at one of those old point and shoot cameras that was, 35 millimeter film, and at the time it was high end, and they're so limiting because you can't see what's happening with your photos. You can't see how they're going to turn out until you get home and you realize, oh, wow, I've got, a few shots out of, hundreds that you wanted to keep. So our modern cameras, I'm so in love with them that I never go to the park without my big clunky camera, and it gets so heavy to carry around, but I still love having it there. But that doesn't mean I don't use my point and shoot sometimes for those, expect the unexpected moments when you just need to grab a camera and shoot something. I even do iPod photography, although I do admit I do very little of that because it's really just not the quality I like. Mm-hmm. But my biggest tip for whenever people ask me how I do photography in the park, my biggest tip would be to really know your equipment and get to know how to use it. And I have a camera that allows me to program in certain settings. Like I know that Steph was really interested in how I get the dark rides, for example.
Yes.
And
it's always what I want to know from everybody.
And the fireworks. And I actually did a lot of blog searching for photography tips in my early stages. And they would be so wonderful to post their settings for their cameras. And I would just try those out and think, oh yeah, that didn't work with my camera. And it was a lot of trial and error at first. But I really got good at it. The few things that I had to remember when I first started out, though, was to remember to shoot my people. I would get so into shooting all of the wonderful scenery and the shows and stuff that I didn't take a lot of shots of kids and friends and that kind of thing. So I got the castle shot and the tree shots and, the standard, here's those photo spots. But I sort of, in the beginning, forgot to take a lot of family photos. And so we've kind of made sure we've stepped that up in recent years. But
So what kind of camera are you using then? What are you shooting with?
I actually have two that I prefer in the park. I have a Nikon D5200 and a Nikon D7000. I actually prefer my older model, the 5200, because I'm just more familiar with it.
Yeah.
But they take really great photos. For my snap and shoot, I just have an old, I'm not even sure what it is. I think it's a Sure Shot. Just, I don't have it anywhere near me, but yeah, I think it's just one of those little Sure Shot cameras, and it takes really decent pictures as well. And I've even managed to get some firework photos in there, so it is possible even if you don't have a DSLR camera. So,
what would you suggest people do if they just have a point and shoot to get some good fireworks photos?
Actually, I have some tips on the fireworks. I cheat, really. I don't want to drag around an iPod, and so stability is always an issue in the park, but there are railings and benches and trash cans and even your children to rest your camera on if you need to when you're taking the shots. And with a lot of those point and shoot cameras, I know mine has if you push the button halfway down, it'll focus. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of point it at the fireworks and wait till one goes off and focus it, but I don't take a shot of it until the next one goes off. And so my camera's already focused on it. And so when I finally get that picture, it actually gets the firework rather than right before or right after. And so it works out pretty well. It's a good cheat.
That is a great cheat. And I'm assuming that you are turning your flash off.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the flash is off. The thing about those flashes is they won't go forever.
Right.
They aren't going to light up the sky.
They're not going to reach the fireworks.
Yes.
They're going to reach the guy's head in front of you, and that's about it.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, so definitely turn your flash off, and with a point and shoot, that is a really good method for getting those, and you can even preserve the colors really well that way. So
that is a really great tip.
That same tip actually works for getting motion in your pictures. I loved those photos I would see where the subject or like the train was in focus, but all of the background looked a little like blurred, like it was going fast. Mm-hmm. And that same thing will work if you put the focus halfway down and follow the train, and while you're taking the picture, and it makes everything in the background blur, but the train stay in focus, and that works on rides and stuff as well.
Yeah, you did that with the carousel, didn't you, Steph?
Yes, did. Yeah.
You were working on that with Katrina.
I was working on it. Yeah, I'm not sure that I'll ever be able to duplicate it without Katrina standing over my shoulder, but maybe with this tip from Effie, I will be able to do it again. Perfect tip.
They just turn out so pretty, don't they?
They do. And then you can have just your kid in focus on the carousel or Dumbo or any of those rides and not anybody else.
Yeah. It's a really great tip for doing that. And that I think that works with my DSLR too. I actually don't use it very often with that because I don't really need to, but my point and shoot camera, it works like a charm. So
that's great.
So let's see. So one of my other tips, everyone makes mistakes with photos, and we take so many. I had to get over the don't throw them away thing, where I have like 500 pictures of the same thing, and I'm like, oh, but I took them all. They're not all masterpieces, and it's okay to get rid of some of them. Yeah. Because I just hated looking through our family photos and going, oh, okay, there's a lot of junk. There's a lot of bad pictures. And I probably only keep about 25% of my shots that I take at the park.
Interesting. So how do you organize your photos? Are you organizing them in folders or?
I do. I actually organize them by trip, and then when we started out, I actually organized them by ride, but I did not like that as well as organizing them by day because I prefer to see how the trip went versus what pictures I got of what area. Yeah. And so I definitely organize them based on how the day went, and I kind of keep them in that order.
That's what I do too. By trip and then each day.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some of your pictures, Britt, and you've got a lot of really great ideas. I notice, I don't know if you're doing it consciously or not, but you definitely know the rule of thirds where you put.
Oh. I try with my rule of thirds a little bit.
Yeah, because I see that. And a lot of the pictures, like the back, taking pictures from the back or not having your subject look straight at you really captures the emotion of the moment rather than just always having people pose for their pictures. And those always turn out really great. I like your photos too.
Oh, thank you. That is like actually really flattering.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't have an option when you have a 2-year-old that won't look at the camera. So
Right.
we'll say that it's to create emotion. And
Some emotion for somebody, right?
Yeah, that I'm not standing in the back behind my camera going, look at me, look at mommy, look at me.
Look at mommy's camera. Look at mommy's camera.
I swear that's like all I say sometimes.
I can relate. I can relate.
Brother.
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
Britt, I have a question for Britt real quick from something you said, Effie. So you mentioned the rule of thirds. Britt, on your phone and on your camera, do you have the grids on your as you're shooting?
Not when I shoot, no.
Okay.
But like when I put them in Instagram, I'm always kind of conscious to crop them that way.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm shooting, sometimes I think about it, but I don't have them like visually on my phone or on my camera. No,
I've got them on my phone.
I do pay attention to my guides, on my DSLR, but
yeah.
But sometimes I'm too busy trying to capture the moment to think about that. Yeah. So, a lot of times it's
post-processing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I was that good, but
no, that's
think of it in the moment.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Okay, go ahead, Effie. Sorry.
Oh, no problem at all. I guess another tip I was going to say was that it's always good to use your flash on sunny days. I know that sounds like totally crazy, but most people think that their flash is just for night pictures, and it is actually really useful for filling in shadows. When you take a picture and the sun is really bright and overhead, you get dark shadows under people's eyes, under their hats, or even from one person, that's obscuring another person. And if you take a picture with your flash on, it does a fill in on all of the people, but it doesn't obscure your background in any way. And so it's actually a really great way to deal with really bright sunny days, because I know we tend to have a lot of silhouette pictures where the people sort of look black or the background is just sort of washed out. And that works really well for that.
That is a good tip. I struggle to remember it when I'm like, why won't this picture work? And I forget, okay, maybe just try a flash or something.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I stopped and talked to one of the PhotoPass photographers. It was a really slow day. It was raining, actually. And he was the only one out, and he was just there to do annual pass photos, and he was in the camera shop. And so I was talking to him for a few minutes, and I asked him what tips he had for people taking pictures in the park, and that was one of his tips, was to always use a fill flash in the sunlight. And he said if you look around at the PhotoPass photographers, we are always using our flash during the day. Yeah,
that's true. I never really
guess
thought
that's good point. And the cast members have so much great advice.
They do.
I think they're kind of an untapped resource. But
I agree. Go ahead with do you have more tips for us?
I have, let's see. One thing I know I do a lot is I make sure I don't just stand in one spot. I think you can get really interesting photos if you try and take it from a lot of different angles, but I think that's kind of, photography 101. I think everybody kind of knows that. But let's see. I kind of think that a lot of people, one of my pet peeves is my DSLR is pretty precious to me, and so I don't like to take it on water rides, for example. And so I tend to miss out on some of those pictures. I even invested in a water camera that unfortunately takes terrible photos.
I've got one of those too. I wonder if it's the same one.
Well, it's great for underwater, but other than that, it's not really, it doesn't take anything spectacular. And so I started taking like Ziploc bags. I saw other people doing that at the park and just cutting a hole for my lens. And surprisingly, I'm even able to take pictures down the splash at Splash Mountain. I braved it once, and my camera survived, and my pictures turned out fabulous. And so I was so happy I tried it. But so don't be afraid to try and wrap up your camera. And one of the other things I do is maybe start a collection. I know on my Instagram I don't know what prompted me to do it, but I actually started a Disneyland signs. I take pictures of like every sign they have at Disneyland from different angles, and believe it or not, they turn out pretty interesting. And so starting a collection is a really great way to, get yourself more Disneyland pictures of things that you may not remember after you leave the park. I know some of the rides.
What a fun idea.
Yeah.
Well, some of the rides are like 2.5 minutes long, and after you're off of them, like Peter Pan, for example, you think, oh, I love that ride, and you don't have anything from the inside to kind of commemorate or remember it in the interim.
I agree with that, because that's one thing for a long time that I forgot to do, was to take pictures of the ride signs for my kids' favorite rides. And I would always come home and think, oh, I wish I had a picture of that sign so that I could include it in the scrapbook, as I was documenting the different rides that they love to ride and the stories behind them and things like that. So I think that's a great tip too. Plus, it's super fun to look at the fonts.
Yeah.
Yes. And that graphic design makes me so happy. So I love the signs at Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really great for staging your albums, your scrapbooking, anything, to kind of let everybody know what the following pictures are about, or however you want to use them. But I don't know why I just started doing it, but I think I have all of them at this point. But they're changing things all the time. I even started taking close-ups of the, construction walls that were there. So, but
fun.
They turn out pretty good.
Yeah, so you've got a collection of those on Instagram as well that you've put up on Instagram?
I do. I have them under the hashtag Disneyland, or my Disneyland signs, I think it is. And then I have close-ups too that I'm using in my guess where hashtag for people to kind of guess where things are at the park.
Yeah, those are tricky. Those are super tricky. I'm more stumped than I'm not. I'll put it that way. But they're super fun to look at, and I love finding out when you share where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Are those all your tips?
I have so many more, but gosh,
share them. We want to hear.
Yeah.
Feel free. Keep going.
Okay. Well, for example, have you ever taken a picture in the dark and had your subject, because obviously you're using a flash, and you've had the subject or the people in your photo turn out really bright, but it washes out the background and it's black?
Yes.
Okay, so there are a lot of ways to deal with that problem. At first I usually increase my ISO, which it's just a fancy technical term for the light in your camera. It's a lot of people know what it is, but it's easily looked up online, and
it's just how much light your camera lets in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about the aperture. It moves the aperture wider, and I slow my shutter speed down. And the changes make the camera be able to see the background, and it shortens your flash to compensate. So you can actually still get those really awesome castle shots, or my favorites are the ones in front of the Mickey Fun Wheel, where the people are still in perfect focus. You can see them, and the background does not blur out at all. You can still see all those night lights and everything, and it turns out really well, really great.
Yay!
So,
I'm so excited about that tip.
Yeah, I've always wanted to take a good picture like that, but it's like impossible.
Me too. And probably part of my problem has been that I'm always trying to do it without a flash. And so I'm bumping my ISO up really high, but not using a flash. So that's good. I'm going to practice that.
Most cameras will actually compensate your flash for your high ISO. So it will actually shorten your flash, so even your subject doesn't look washed out. So it works really well. It took me forever to learn that. I can't, but I really like those photos. They are some of my favorites, actually.
That I'm really excited about that. I'm going to start making a list of all of the things I'm going to practice next time in the parks, because that is a great tip. And that is one thing that I've really wanted to know how to do. How do I get a picture of my kids while we're waiting for World of Color, you know, in front of, or even if they're watching World of Color, how can I, in the big fire scene, how can I get a good picture of my son without having all of the fire be washed out? I'm really excited.
Let's review it. Review the tip one more time.
Yes, let's.
Okay, so basically you want to increase your ISO. You want to open your aperture wider, and the settings you're going to have to play with a little bit until you get the right settings. And if you have a camera that will save them, I strongly suggest you do that so that you don't have to worry about it ever again. But definitely increase your ISO, open your aperture wider, and slow your shutter speed down. And you want to leave your flash on, but your camera should compensate for the distance the flash will go. So try it out. It actually works. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited. For real. And so if people don't know all of those words that you just used, but they have a DSLR, the best thing for them to do would refer to their manual, right?
Yeah, you can refer to your manual. I know there's a lot of really helpful blogs on those particular things online. And I could, of course, go into the technical, but each camera has different buttons and different locations, and so it really wouldn't work. So,
yeah. Well, it just goes back to what you said in the very beginning. Like, your first tip is to just know your equipment.
Yeah.
If you really want to, work on your photography in the park, you got to know your equipment and what things mean before you go. It's not going to be very smart to be there trying to
learn
what's the ISO. That's not the best place to learn what it is. You need to know that stuff before. Be a little bit prepared.
Yeah. I
do know on some of the DSLRs, like the Canons, for example, I've actually had some experience doing the same technique with the Canon. You can actually use the flash with the camera in AV mode, and it will do this sort of the same thing, and it's much simpler than having to do all those other things. So people with Canons, that's a little bit easier for you. So
good to know.
Yeah, that's what I use, and I almost always shoot in AV mode, so that's good.
And that's actually how I was able to get, I'm on a Canon as well, and that's how I was able to get those carousel pictures that you were talking about, Britt, with the one horse in focus and then everything else blurry was in AV mode.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear a couple more tips.
Couple more tips. Okay, well, here's a kind of a silly one. I've been in the park before and had people standing behind me wondering if they had to pay to get on rides. And this is actually relevant, but I've actually overheard conversations. They didn't realize that when they paid, they didn't have to pay any more to get on the rides, that their ticket was their pretty much getting on the rides. And a lot of people also don't realize that you don't have to buy something. I know a lot of stores these days say, please don't photograph our stuff. But at Disney, they're really open to you trying on the hats and trying on the stuff just to get a photo, even if you're not going to buy it. And so don't be afraid to do that. Don't be afraid to get goofy and silly and get some of those memories, because I know some of us sometimes don't get a lot of spending money when we get there. Things tend to be a little expensive, and we kind of save up for that one thing we really, really want, or, you never know how it's going to end up. But yeah, you definitely don't have to purchase it to shoot it at Disney. So
that's a great tip. Yeah, we've done that before, where we all go get on silly hats and take photos and stuff like that.
It's always fun to try on the hats or ears and all the different ears they have now and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I want to try on a tire hat. I don't want to buy a tire hat.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Those tire hats make me laugh every time I see someone wearing them. I'm like, really? You bought that? Like, that's crazy.
The cones are up there with the tire hats.
I agree.
The new cone hats.
I
saw those for the first time this trip, and I was dying. I was like, those are so crazy.
They might top the tire hats.
They might be more ridiculous.
Just because of the obnoxious orange color.
And they're huge. They're so huge.
So funny. Okay, let's do one more tip, and then we'll move on into our picks.
Okay, so I think the last one maybe should be about dark rides. I know that's one Steph is particularly interested in. I think my biggest tip for that one is that one's going to take some patience. You need to mess with your camera some and turn off your flash. Do not try to use a flash in the dark rides because so many things there are lit with that blue light that when you use your flash, you're getting everything, but it's washing out your picture. And so you're not getting the effect that you're hoping for or what you're seeing with the naked eye. And so definitely turn off your flash and remember that, the more light you let in, the more you're going to see the effects that as Disney, planned for you to see them. And that really has to do with your ISO as well, because the higher the ISO, the more light, the lower, the less light. So definitely play with those and try doing it without your flash, and you will end up eventually getting better pictures in the dark rides.
Sounds great.
I cannot stand when somebody has their flash on in front of me. Like, it drives me crazy, like to the point where I almost can't enjoy the ride.
Do you want to hear something funny?
Yes.
I'm outing myself.
Are you a flash ride person? Because we cannot ride rides together.
Yeah, it was not on purpose. So when I went to Disneyland in January, and Katie and I were in the parks, and I was using my app, and my first developer that I had is not a big Disney person. I think he's been to Disney World once, and that's the extent of his. So he didn't really know about this little detail. And back then, it's been fixed, I promise, now in the app. But back then, when you opened up the app, the flash automatically went into auto mode, or into auto mode, which I didn't know. I didn't realize that. So we're in Small World, and I'm in my app, clicking away in the Capturing Magic app, clicking away. And I'm like, every time I fire, I'm like, who is using their flash? And then I go and take another picture, and I turn to Katie. I'm like, who is using their flash? You should not be using a flash inside the ride. And then I click more photos. I'm like, that's crazy. Every time I click a photo, the flash goes up. And then I realized it was me. It was me that was flashing, and I was so embarrassed. So that is now fixed. When you are in a dark ride and you open the Capturing Magic app to take a picture, it's automatically in off mode.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were riding Pirates just on this last trip, and there was a lady in the boat in front of us taking pictures with a flash, and like we were going past the Blue Bayou, so like we weren't really all the way in the ride, but she was just flashing away. And everybody around her starts yelling at her to turn her flash off. Like people in her boat, people in my boat. And so then she stops taking pictures for a while. But then we get down into the ride, and sure enough, there she is again, just flashing away. And she has a big camera, and one of those flashes that like flash, flashes like 8 times to take a picture. The whole ride. And I was like, I can't believe this lady just got publicly yelled at by like tons of people and still had the guts to be like, oh, well, I'm just doing it anyway.
I'm going to take pictures anyway.
Yeah. Josh and I were like, wow, that's some nerve on that lady right there. Funny.
Yeah, I never use my flash in the rides. I actually confess I have used my flash on purpose once in Pirates. I have wanted a picture of Goofy Rock in there. I'm not sure if you guys know where that is, but it was one of the other hidden characters in Pirates. And I've wanted a picture of Goofy Rock. I wanted it for the book. And I'm like, I have tried. I've been through the ride like 12 times. And so I'm like, I'm going to just flash one time. I'm going to annoy everybody in my boat. I know it. But I waited till we got down there, and I flashed. And I'm like, it turned out I don't have to do it again. But yeah, I have occasionally been the culprit of that. But mine is more of when I have like just... I'm at my wit's end, and I'm like, I've ridden the ride like 12 times in a row now. I need it just once. But yeah, it totally bugs me too. So
where's Goofy Rock?
Yeah,
or do we need to wait for the book?
No, you don't need to wait for the book. That's actually something we started collecting when years ago we started doing hidden Mickeys and other hidden characters, which a lot of people don't even know there are other hidden characters in the park. There's a rock that jets out over the water, and you're probably busy looking at the Pirates captain quarters, or right in front of you, the treasure room. And right above you, there's a rock that jets out that is carved in Goofy's nose. And
cool.
it's huge. It's really hard to miss once you know it's there.
Uh-huh.
And
I can't wait to look for it.
I know.
And
That's
yes,
fun. I've never heard of that.
well, there's lots of actually other Disney characters. We've had cast members give us lots of tips on finding them in the park, but a lot of people don't know that. So
Cool.
Yeah.
Before we move on to pics, I have a couple questions for Effie. So when you do Instagram, because your Instagram pictures are so wonderful, are they mostly all just pictures that you took on your DSLR and then you put in Instagram later? Or do you Instagram live from the park when you go? Or maybe both?
I do a little bit of both. I try to take my pictures, ideally so that they don't need any photo processing, but let's be honest, that's not always the case. But
okay, that was my next question: is how much post processing do you do, and what if you have any? Like, what is it like when you post process? Like, what do you use and stuff? Oops, sorry, just hit my mic.
Well, actually, many of the photos that you see on my Instagram feed are actually edited right on my iPhone. My favorite app is PaintFX. I sometimes use it in combination with other apps like Title FX or Afterlight, PicFrame, Square Ready, those ones. But my favorite and the most used is PaintFX. It actually comes with about, I'd say, 30 to 40 different filters. It comes with HDR modes and, of course, the standard brightness, vibrancy, contrast, all of those things that you need. And you're able to paint them in on the picture where you want them rather than just having the entire picture affected.
Ooh.
And so it's really my favorite app for fixing those photos. If you could ever see some of the before and afters on my Instagram, I might want to do that, like before and after this app on my Instagram. Good idea.
Oh, yeah.
But it's amazing the difference that the app makes sometimes.
Cool.
It also, if you've seen any of my my Disneyland edits, where I actually put things over top, or you know, you can actually do that right in the app. You can go and grab another photo and stick it over top of your other one, and you can deal with how opaque it is and everything right in that same app. So it's really my favorite one for photo processing on my iPhone. Off my iPhone, I actually run Photoshop CS6, and I pretty much prefer my photos to be kind of natural, and I would only use them really to change like the tone if it was too blue or too red, and the vibrance and exposure and contrast, that sort of stuff. I don't really use filters much in my Photoshop. So
interesting. Yeah, that's great. Great.
So do you Instagram live when you're there? Sorry, did you answer that?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Fun.
Was that all your questions for her?
Yep.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's move on into our picks with Pixie Dust then. Britt, do you have a pick?
I do, and it has nothing to do with our topic today, but that's okay. Okay, so I found this on Pinterest a while ago, and they are, maybe you've seen them, but they're lightsaber popsicle cozies, like lightsaber otter pop cozies.
Oh.
And this lady made them for her son, and they're basically like they look like the handle of a lightsaber, and then you put an otter pop in them and they look like little lightsabers, and they're just made out of felt. And so she talks about kind of how she made it and says like they're just really easy, like they're really simple. So she says, this is how I made them, but if you don't want to make them, she also has a link to her Etsy shop where you can just go ahead and buy some. So if you're not crafty and you just want to buy some, then you can. And they're like $7 or something for two. So they're not expensive. But I made these for my brother and his wife for their wedding, and I put them in the top of an otter, like I bought them a big box of Otter Pops, and I put them in the top of the Otter Box pot, like put them in the top, like crossed over each other so they would get what they were. And they were so thrilled because my brother's really big into Star Wars, like hugely. And so I made them, and they are so easy to make, so easy. And they were such a fun gift to give. And they're a somewhat Disney related craft that I found that I really loved. So
They're totally Disney related.
Yeah.
they're really cute too. And so since then, my other brother has like requested some for his birthday. He's like, I really want some. Okay. So I'll be making another set for them.
That's really funny.
And if you're looking these up, the way she did, because well, I should have sent you guys a picture before so you would know what I'm talking about. But the way she does like the little red button on it to make it look like a lightsaber, like I think without the button, it wouldn't really look like a lightsaber handle. But she uses red fabric paint or something like that. I'm not really sure exactly what she uses, maybe puff paint or something. But I found at the craft store like little tiny red pom-poms. Like they're really tiny, and I just hot glued used E6000 and put one of those on there, and it looks better, I think, than the glue. So that's what I used for my button in case anybody is making them. Little red pom-poms.
Fun.
Yeah, they're really cute and really fun, and they
kind
of bring that Disney stuff, a little Disney magic into your life.
Disney magic at home.
If you have little boys who love Star Wars, like, it's so fun.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I'm totally eating this up right now.
How fun. Okay, Effie, do you have a pick?
Yeah, I actually chose kind of right on topic, the Disney photograph blog. It has a great 3-part series called Shooting the Disney Dark Rides, and it's a really great resource for tips on how to get the best shot with any camera. It's really easy to follow. It's a tutorial, and it has pictures, exact camera settings on how they got those with different types of cameras. I have used a lot of the techniques that I actually learned from them, and it was written by Todd Hurley, and he is a really brilliant photographer, and I just thought it would be really kind of to the point. And one of those hardest things to get at Disney takes a lot of patience to get good pictures in those rides. So
perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yours is all on topic and good, and mine's lightsaber cozies.
I like yours better. It's okay.
No. All good. It's all good. Mine's not on topic either, Britt.
Okay, good.
Mine is, my pick is the Zoom Disney app, iPhone app, and the Zoom Disney, well, it's not an iPhone, it's Android and iPhone. Gotta say that. It's in the Google Play Store. And then the zoomdisney.com website as well. So what this app does is it uses image recognition, and you open the app and point it at a Disney poster, and you can do this at the Monsters University posters and the Lone Ranger posters anywhere, like in a mall, at a movie theater. But if you don't have any of those handy, you can also go to zoomdisney.com and point the app, click on the images that they have in their gallery. So it's zoomdisney.com/gallery, and click on one of the images, and it will open up, and it works right there on your computer screen. And then it looks like on your phone, it looks like you're looking at a different image than what's on your computer screen or the poster. And it makes it clickable, and you can select different options. So for Monsters University, you can see movie trailers, and there's also an option where you can create a Monsters University ID card right on your iPhone.
Fun.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Does it just work for the ones that are on there, like the Monsters University, Lone Ranger, and Planes, or does it work for like
right now? I think it's just these ones. I'm excited though, because I think that there's a lot of capability here, and I'm really excited to see what they do. I'm envisioning it would be really cool if they did this in the parks, where you could do the signs for the rides and then open up additional photo editing capabilities and things like that.
Or even just like information on the ride or trivia. That's fun. Like it's good technology. Like that's
really great technology.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Yeah. And I remember when Sarah Bricker was on after we were done recording, and I asked her for an image, and she sent me the image that she did for the graphic, and you can go look up that graphic if you want on that show. And I asked her, I said, okay, you have to tell me what app you used to do that picture, because people are going to ask. And she took it with the Tokyo Disney app. And it does that exact thing. When you're in certain locations in the park, it unlocks all of these different filters and sparkles and really cool, fun things that you take your picture with, and it just adds it to the photo.
Oh, Tokyo Disney, always with the cool stuff.
I know, topping us with everything.
They always have cool stuff like that.
So I think that we're not that far off from seeing some of this kind of stuff hitting the parks. I'm excited about it. So very, very cool stuff. Fun. And you can make a Monsters University ID badge and just use a photo on your photo stream and then print it right to your wireless computer if you have or wireless printer if you have a wireless printer set up that way. Lots of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Is it new? I've never heard of Zoom Disney.
You know what? I hadn't either. I saw it. Where did I don't remember where I saw it. Oh, Pinterest on the official Disney. I think it was one of the official Disney Pinterest feeds is where I saw it.
Cool.
Yeah. That's where I found it. So I don't know how brand new it is or not. I guess I can look in the App Store and see when it was released. Huh. That would be good.
I see when it was updated, but I don't know when it was released. So
yeah. It looks like that was when it was released, June 19th.
Oh, cool.
Because that's version, let's see, hang on. Nope. Yeah, version 1.1. So that could be version history. Here we go. It was released on May 3rd, 2013.
Okay, so and pretty new.
Yeah, it's pretty darn new. Yep.
Fun.
Very fun stuff. So let's go around one more time and remind our listeners where to find us. Britt?
I am, as always, at BritishDesigns.com. It's British with 2 T's. And let's see, by the time this show comes out, we will be very close to releasing a new collection from Project Mouse. So we've taken a little time off for the summer. Krista and I have both been really busy. And so, yeah, we have some new stuff coming up pretty soon.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's good, too. I'm really excited about it.
Good. And Effie?
You can find me on Instagram at Snowborn Sisters Inc., at theartbeatgallery.etsy.com, and very soon on the Dimpletonsblogspot.com.
Perfect. And I'm Steph, and you can find me on capturingmagic.me. My other podcast is The Digi Show. If you're interested in listening to that one, you can download it in iTunes, and it is also available on Stitcher. Or you can go to digishow.com, and it's a digital scrapbooking podcast. And that's all I'm going to share for today. Be sure to check us out at capturingmagic.me, where we are posting quite often all about creating and capturing magic memories. And
that's where you'll find all the show notes for today's show.
Yes, you can go to capturingmagic.me/50. That's how you can find all of our shows. We would love to hear from you. We've been getting lots of new listeners and people that have been contacting us to share their ideas and their tips. And so we're probably going to be having a mail show coming up soon to share listener tips. So if you have any that you would like to share with us, you can email them to mail@capturingmagic.me, or you can go to the website capturingmagic.me and click on contact and fill out that form there, and it will send over an email. We would love to hear from you. Okay, we're good.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everyone, for being here, and we will be back next time where we will be capturing magic.